Just so you know, our next guest, well, he's not a guest. This is his show, too. He will not tolerate any negativity. Last night, you may have heard Katie say something like, well, the Kings are playing some really good teams coming up. And he said, Katie, why are you being so negative? And she said, I'm not being negative. That's who they play.
I had to straighten her out real fast. That's
Kyle
what
Draper,
I'm talking about.
Yeah, Kyle Draper back with us. How are you, Drapes?
What's up, fellas? I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm in a good state of mind. I'm feeling good. Happy to be home for a week. So I'm good, baby. I'm good. Happy to be on with my guys, too. What's going on?
Well, what's going on is Linda Harold wanted to know how the Kings lost when you were calling the game, because that's the first time that's happened.
That's a great question. And I actually thought about that, too. I literally, as the clock was ticking down to 0, I'm like, damn, I can't say that, I haven't lost the game yet. Your boy was 2-0, and Mark, I don't remember his record, but I know it wasn't 2-0. And so I was feeling good, man. I was feeling good. And then, we could just never get over the hump yesterday, never really make that charge. We needed like a 10-0 run, a 12-0 run, something like that. And it just never came last night.
Drapes, one of the things I talked about today and I mean, I guess for a lack of a better phrase, the Kings were who I thought they were, meaning Denver was just a better team last night. The Kings didn't play bad. They didn't play great. They played pretty much like I thought this iteration of the Kings would be. And Denver at this moment of the season, and maybe the whole season, but speaking of our current situation, I just thought Denver was a better team.
Yeah, Jay, and I think what you saw is Denver knows who they are. Their core has been together for years now. You got the best player in the world in Jokic that can sort of pick you apart like Tom Brady did when he was with the Patriots. And the Kings are a team that's still trying to figure it out. It's interesting. I had a conversation with one of the coaches before the game, and we talked about defense against Denver. And one of the things I asked him, I said, is this one of those games, maybe more so than any game this season, where defensively it has to be 5 guys on the string, 5 guys locked in? And they said yes. And what you saw, Denver exploited it, too many mistakes and, communication issues. And, to Jay's point, Denver's a team with championship aspirations and legitimate ones. We're a team right now still trying to figure it out, still trying to learn each other, still trying to develop a culture and identity.
Yeah, Drapes, I think we had talked about this. Every time in recent years when the Kings played the Nuggets, we had that whole Michael Malone, axe to grind drama, and I was getting tired of that. We didn't have that last night, but we did have the whole Russell Westbrook back against the Nuggets drama. How it appeared or sounded on TV like he was pretty well received by the fans last night. Was that the case?
Well, and the fan base is interesting, and that was something I was paying attention to. Mm-hmm. When Russ got introduced, he got booed, fellas.
Oh, okay.
I heard some boos out there.
Mm-hmm.
But then they played like a tribute video, a thank you, Russ, and the crowd stood up and cheered him on and everything like that. And so it was kind of a mixed bag. It was, when you're introduced, you're an opponent, but, we're going to recognize you and give you some love. I thought his comments afterwards were interesting. I'm sure you guys saw, some of the quotes out there. It ended pretty badly. Sounds like he didn't want to leave. It was them making that decision, which I think, upset him a little bit. But, their loss is our gain. I thought he was fantastic last night. I know he had the 6 turnovers, but his turnovers are from a effort standpoint, you know what I mean? Trying to do the right thing, trying to play fast. It's not like, he's, in the half court set just throwing. He gets a steal and he's fired up. He's going the other way and maybe moves a little too fast. But, I'd rather take a guy like that than a guy that you have to sort of, charge up at halftime, plug in the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, and have to charge him each game. Russ comes in charged up. You like that plug right there, right?
Where can we get one of those, Drake?
My company, I'm gonna make sure you're the advertiser, brother.
Where can we get one of those Mercedes?
Mercedes-Benz of Stockton.
Okay,
I got to invoice them. As a matter of fact, I got to get that check for this month. That's not a freebie.
Hey, Drapes, before you do your Drapes takes real fast, man, I don't think you could talk about Precious yet because he's not under contract, but IJ
they announced it though, Jay.
Oh, did they? I didn't get
it.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the last 25 minutes, the
Okay,
team
okay.
announced that. So I could talk about both. Yeah.
Okay, well, real fast before you, hopefully I'm not taking away from Drapes Takes. Just talk about IJ, Kings here, and also Precious being included now on the roster.
You know, I like IJ a lot. And you look at, how many years have we been talking about his potential, diamond in the rough? In all honesty, at this moment, Precious Achua is a better player and roughly the same age. And so, you could argue if Isaac Jones was 10 months older, he'd be Precious Achua. You know what I mean? And fans would be okay, with us keeping Precious. And so I like the move, bringing a guy like Precious Achua in. He's a guy that knows who he is. He's a guy that's, played 6 seasons in the NBA, has been in the trenches. Whereas Isaac, I hope it turns out well. We've seen flashes, but he just didn't get, I think, the full opportunity. And I don't know if we have that kind of, patience, and will he ever turn into that? A lot of people say, well, why don't you get rid of, so-and-so or this guy and that guy? IJ's contract wasn't guaranteed. So, there was a financial component, I would imagine. That's just my thinking. Whereas Dario Saric, some of these other guys, you got to eat that contract. And so I like Precious Achua. This is a guy, Jay and Whitey, remember, we talked about in the offseason.
Yep.
He was one of our guys. We said, maybe they should go out and get Precious. So, no, I think, he'll help us out immediately.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Drapes, Jay has your music, so fire away when ready.
All right, Jay. Can you play the music, big fella?
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
All right. First of all, I know y'all coming to me for my Kings takes and all that, but your boy just left the golf course, fellas. Just left the golf course. I'm just saying, I might have finally figured something out, boys.
Nice.
This is like that when Jay asked me how I was doing, I'm doing great. Shot a 92. That's not great. I understand that. But Whitey and Jay, listen to this. Last 5 holes, par, 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 and I missed a 3-footer for par.
Wow.
So I was 1 over through the last 5 holes, and I made an adjustment in my swing, and I think it's something that can carry. So your boy is fired up.
You got to get back
it's
out
a
there.
Great day.
Yeah.
I know, right? I should have played 36 today.
Now, I was going to say you need to play a nighttime 9.
Right? I may go back out, seriously.
The local municipal.
But, back to last night's game, fellas. Tough loss. Let me just say this. I've gone on record how much I'm not a Joker fan. I don't like the Denver Nuggets. He flops around a lot. Jamal Murray's a front runner, if you ask me. But damn, Jokic is good. He picked us apart. Whatever we tried to do, he found the open man, and there's a reason why he's a 3-time MVP. I'm going to tip my cap. One time this year, fellas, tip my cap to the Jokers, because think about it, guys. He came out and set the tone. That first quarter, him bombing away from 3, him making the passes, him scoring away. I think he had 15 in the first quarter, something like that. He set the tone, and man, he is great. He's fantastic. Let's talk about our boys real quick. I'm going to start with the rookie, Neat Clifford. I thought he got the short end of the whistle a little bit last night. He got some rookie calls against him. But he was ready for that smoke, I thought, yesterday. I thought he had some defensive miscues at times, in the wrong spot, lack of communication, but that happens. But the defense on Jamal Murray, when Jamal hit that 17-footer, that's as great a defense you could play.
Yeah.
Then to force the turnover on the sidelines. Neat Clifford is forcing these coaches to play him. I think he played 18 minutes and change. That, to me, is the standard from here on out. Like, this dude is a ball player. I don't think he was afraid of the moment. I don't think he was ducking any smoke. He had several hundred people in attendance, and he was ready. He was locked in. I thought Neat Clifford. Don't look at the box score, Whitey. Don't look at, the 6-5 fouls. Look at just, that's a rookie out there learning the game, and he didn't look out of place. I thought he looked really good yesterday, especially defensively.
Yeah, and just to your point, when he gets a call that goes against him, it doesn't bother. I mean, he questions it, but then it doesn't affect his play at all. That's what impresses me.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing regarding Neek, and I asked Doug about this afterwards after the game. The way Neek played, especially defensively, is kind of what Doug is looking for. You're going to get some fouls called on you. It's not going to be a clean game, but you're getting your fouls called on you because you're being physical at times. That's what Doug wants to see from these guys. So I thought he was tremendous. Can we give some credit? And Whitey, you called this 2 years ago, big fella. Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis, we could talk about him every single game. The ultimate 3-and-D guy for this team. Quickest hands on the team. And when he gets an open three, the dude's going to knock it down.
Yep.
I mean, this guy is, and so we could talk about IJ and the development. We got to give the Kings some credit for Keon Ellis. Give Mike Brown. It took him a while, but man, Keon is a bona fide NBA player. And I thought he was tremendous last night, which brings me to the other side. Zach LaVine. Man, if he could have hit a couple of threes in that fourth quarter, he had some good looks. He just didn't have it last night. He's dealing with the low back soreness. I wonder how much that affected him. It was clear, the shot was off last night. And so he was due for one of those games. But to me, Zach LaVine can take us from a team that's so-so to a team that I'm telling you, last night, if he could have just hit one or two more of those threes in the fourth, and I said it to Katie during the game, he's a guy that can go on that personal 10-0 run that we needed, that personal 12-0 run that we needed last night. And so I thought he played pretty good defense. Just the shots weren't falling for him last night. I expect big things for him tomorrow. I expect a bounce back game because he's been pretty much consistent the first 5-6 games of the season. Last night was just an off game for him. Also, fellas.
Yeah,
go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and maybe I've missed it. What's going on with the lower back? I hadn't really seen too much of that.
I hadn't seen it either.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen Dennis Schroeder's hip soreness either. Like, all of a sudden they just popped up.
Right.
But they went through shoot around. They seemed good. So, I don't want to use that as a full excuse. I didn't see any plays with the injuries or anything like that would have caused it. And so I was shocked that they were both on the injury report going into that game yesterday. Hey, can we give Domas some love, fellas?
Yeah.
My God, the dude, right from the opening tip, he was clearly bothered. Took a shot to the ribs. Me and Katie talked to him during the game. He got an x-ray at halftime, checked out A-OK. But man, the dude was battling all night. And, that's the thing about him. And I said this during the game. He's not going to be, hey, Doug, I can't go tonight. Or, Doug, I think I should come out and sit down. He's the type of player the coach got to tell him, yo, you're hurting yourself out there. Have a seat. Like, and I know the numbers might not be always there. I know he had his hands full last night with Jokic, but just seeing him play the way he did and play through that pain. And I got to think, and I know Precious Achiuwa is not necessarily a center, but now you add another body, a big body that you can trust if you're Doug Christie, so that you don't always have to count on Domas at that position.
I was just going to say, Drapes, and I know you talk a lot during the games about the assists. And, we were talking last week about how Domas's assist numbers down a little. He had 5 last night. But what's cool to me is the balance. We look at balance scoring the Kings lately. They have balanced numbers in the assist column. LaVine had 4, and Domas had 5, and 6 from Westbrook, and 9 from Schroeder, and 3 from Neek Clifford. And that's a real good sign to me that the offense is really functioning at a high level.
Yeah, and I think they had 16 in that first half, which is solid. It's, I think offensively, let's call it what it is. They look pretty good offensively, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the ball's sticking or anything like that, or it's slow or anything. I think these guys know what their roles are. DeMar knows his, Zach, and I honestly think my boy Dennis Schroeder, is coming around. Like these last few games, I think he's been tremendous. And the thing I like about him, and as Doug talked about him being a trendsetter on both ends of the floor, he's talking smack back to Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He's talking smack back to Bruce Brown out there. Like, you're not going to punk Dennis Schroeder. The numbers may not always be there and everything, but what do you have? 7 assists last night or something like that? You know, whatever it was.
9.
Like 9 assists?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I think he's been good. Nobody's really talking about him. He's not going to be a 25 and 9 guy like Trae Young or anything like that. To me, Dennis Schroeder is a 16, 17, 8 assist guy on our team, which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Lastly, guys, we got to talk about Russell Westbrook. I know y'all talked about Russ in that first hour, but the dude, to me, has been better than advertised. And I don't understand why a team would not have picked him up before the Sacramento Kings. I understand he had the 6 turnovers, but I'm talking about some of the intangibles, the talking, the communication during timeouts, the communication at practice, the leadership, you know, and maybe if you're a veteran team, maybe you don't need that, a la the Denver Nuggets, but for a young team like the Sacramento Kings, I think he's been really good for us. You know, do we need him to be our leading scorer? Probably not in a perfect world, but he had it going on offensively. But the thing about Russ, and Kings fans, we need to take note of this, and Jay and Whitey, you guys know this. We got a lot of nice guys over the years. A lot of guys that play basketball, but may not compete at basketball. One thing you know about Russ, that dude's coming to compete every single night. And I think when you ask Scott Perry and Doug, if you ask them, that's why I think they brought in Russell Westbrook, because he competes every single night.
Yeah, you said, Drapes, that you were talking to one of the coaches last night about how to defend Denver. How can the coaches and the players, how can they start competing more, all of them at the defensive end? How can they start competing better?
Well, I think when you look at it, one, the communication has to be better. One thing I'm noticing at times during the game, we don't have each other's back. Meaning, if a guy gets beat, where's the help? You know, or if I'm making a mistake, who's covering for me? And I think that just comes with time. At playing together, learning each other, trusting each other. And I'll be honest, man. Through our first 7 games or so, we haven't been terrible all the time defensively. It's just little patches where we lose our concentration. We lose our focus. You know, I thought against Milwaukee at times, throughout that first quarter, second and third quarter, we were locked in defensively. And so I think it's just the mental lapses at times, and Doug's talked about it. You got to play a full 48 minutes. And, you know, I don't know if it was you, Whitey, or Katie, or somebody else. You could have 5 Bruce Bowens on the floor. But I don't think the Kings, and Katie said this actually when we had dinner the other night, what the Kings really need to focus on is team defense. Because it's not shut down your man necessarily. It's, all right, when you're in rotation, do you know where to be? And I thought when you play a team like Denver, they can pick you apart, get you in rotation, and break your defense down. Like, we don't need 5 Marcus Smarts out there. We just need, you know, guys that lock in defensively, guys that understand the defensive system, and guys that play team defense. And I think, you know, we've seen flashes of it, just not enough, really.
Yeah. Precious will help a little bit at that end, right? Maybe it's not fair to think he's going to help a lot, but he'll help.
Well, think about it. I mean, you know, especially with Keegan Murray out.
Yeah.
You could throw Precious at the 4 if you wanted to. You know, he can easily play alongside Domantas Sabonis. And his 3-ball is something he's worked on over his last couple of years. And so the thing about Precious, he's going to play hard. You know, I heard Jay talking about him a little bit. You know, you're not going to punk him out there. This is a guy that can legitimately play the 4 spot. And while I'm giving Precious some love, how about my boy Drew Eubanks?
Yeah.
Eubanks is actually playing decent, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not going to be that guy that you turn to 25 minutes a night, but in certain situations, and that's what bench players are, role players, they're not going to deliver every single night. But, last night, I thought Drew Eubanks, when we were trying to make a charge, he had a stretch where he was phenomenal out there.
He's 9 for 10 from the floor his last 2 games. 9 for 10.
Tearing it off the glass.
Yeah. And Drapes is speechless at how well Drew Eubanks is played.
Drapes is getting another phone call. That's what normally that's normally what happens is when you get another phone call and you he's a busy man. They hitting him on the hip,
Yeah,
baby.
that's what happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I know
got
how
me.
I go, brother.
Hey, man, I don't know about you guys. Real quick, though.
Mercedes hitting
Do you get more spam calls now than ever before?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, I'm getting spammed all the freaking time now.
I'll say this. Crazy part is both of you guys know I have 2 phones. The iPhone catches way more than the Google Pixel. I have no clue why, but it definitely does. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
come on to the
I'm
dark
getting,
side, Drapes.
10 spam calls a day easily. Yeah, I know. Listen, yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's
Drapes
killing me, man.
Yeah.
It's killing me.
If you, we're going to be out there at the arena tomorrow. I don't know what time you roll in now, but feel free to come on by if you want to pop on with us if you have a few moments. I know you're very busy.
Where you guys going to be at?
Man,
Are you going to be at the Sawyer?
Come on,
No, we'll be at our regular spot there with RJ courtside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were big time now over at the Sawyer Revival.
That'll be Friday.
That's
That'll be Friday. That'll be
Yeah.
Friday.
That's right. Hey, I'm gonna come up there and get some grub. You know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
come
Get
on,
some
brother.
grub.
Come on, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. No
Nothing-
doubt. But
and
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thankfully, nothing about your Eagles today, huh?
Yeah, Jay, you didn't have to say
No,
that.
because look, we get fair warning here.
49ers did
What?
nothing today,
I
Drapes.
don't have nothing to say. Did something happen? I missed.
No, that's the great point. Is
we
nothing
making
happened.
moves, right?
That you guys are very average still.
Dude, y'all beat a suspect Giants team. Come on, big fella.
That's
Come
all
on.
right. That's all
You know
right.
what?
The Giants team. Who did you guys beat? The Giants.
Once they did.
Why are you bringing up old
I'm
stuff?
just
Why are you bringing up old stuff?
All right, Drapes.
Hey, man, we'll be
Thank you.
ready. All right, fellas.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. That's Drapes Takes, and we'll come right back with a look at the latest on Ja next on Sactown Sports.